name's Eddie Mio. I live in West Bloomfield, Michigan. I'm a former NHL hockey player, played with Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and retired here in Detroit. Well, Willie Boy, William Thibodeau is a very good friend of mine. I've met him through an actor friend of mine, Michael Woods, and we just have remained friends over the years. And it came to me probably, I think it was about at least a year, maybe a little bit more. Talked about this script, sent it to me, write guidelines, and it was enjoyable script. There's things to be learned from it. It is an ongoing issue, and I know a lot of people have been talking about it. I know there was a movie that just came out on CBC or something like that. So it was an entertaining yet informative script. So he just talked to me, wanted to get some contacts, get my feelings. If the project moved on, which it's moving on in this last year, has been moving on quickly, and I'm very happy for Billy. Um, that I would be as a consultant slash maybe there's a part, with these great looks here, Patrick. I mean, I have a face for radio. Remember that. I there might be a part, but more importantly, I'd like to see this thing get done for Willie Boy. He spent a lot of time and effort in it. Well, the awareness. I mean, the hockey fact, the fighting in hockey is always prevalent. It was when in my era when I played. It was before me, a little bit after me. Now they're trying to take it out. I think how I feel about it, and it was funny. We had a question and answers period 2 days ago downtown Detroit with the Red Wings season ticket holders, and it was me and three other former players. And that the question was asked regarding this issue, and all four of us kind of came out with the answer pretty much that there's a little bit of a lack of respect these days. And what we mean by that is not that the players don't respect each other, but they go out to hit because it's allowed. Because there's not going to be any repercussions. And in my era, if you went out and took a run at somebody, whether it was clean or not, expect a payback. So that kept things honest. There wasn't as many concussions. There wasn't as many runs at people because you're allowed to do it now. And when I say you're allowed to do it, I don't mean it's illegal. It's just there's no holding. In my era, at the blue line, when the puck was dumped in on your defenseman, you were allowed to hold the guy open season because there's no forward, like guys can't hold other teams up to break down their speed to get to that puck, and that's why they're looking at having no touch icing, because of this issue. So, it's something that obviously with all the concussions going on right now, and it's something that needs to be addressed. Well, I'm kind of like the 5-year plan. Every 5 years, I get the itch to do something else. And after I retired here, I was a manufacturer's rep in the automotive industry because that's what everybody did if you retired here. Then I became an agent for 10 years, working with one of the best, Mike Barnett, and we represented Wayne Gretzky, Sergei Fedorov, Brett Hall. And then I went to work with Wayne in Phoenix Coyotes for about 5 years. Then I went to work with him in his wine business. It got to the point where, I came up and met an owner of a station, and he was doing some political stuff with two icons here in Detroit, Bill Bonds and Rich Fisher. And I approached him with an idea. I've always wanted to dabble in radio, and I now have a newfound respect. I thought you could just go on the air and start gabbing for 3 hours, but that's not the case. There's a lot of prepping and, well, pretty much I don't think it'll be a big role. Number one, it's to be trying to look pretty on the bench and maybe give some guys a little grief and point the finger at people when they're. But I think just being natural, and I mean, uh, I feel like I act every day, so it just comes a little natural to me. Put me in front of a camera might be completely different, but my role is going to be insignificant. I would say not to the point where it's not important, but it's not really a main character. It's just acting natural and playing the part of an assistant coach. I would probably feel differently if I had a bigger role and say, forget it, I'm not doing that. But this I think will come natural. I've been behind the bench. I've worked with hockey players, so to me, I think the setting number one will allow me to just act natural. Well, I just think it's a good storyline. I mean, it's some people will look at it and say, "Oh, been done here," but you know what? It's there's a little twist to it. With the father and the son and what develops between them, and then him and his brother. I mean, I think it's a good story. I'm trying to think of the movie that was just done regarding concussions and all that, but there was a lot of hockey players in it, and I know a few guys that were in it. So I think it's as long as it's an enjoyable movie, but yet to the point. I think people will like it, and I think it is. It's. I don't want to say it's a good feel story, a feel good story, but it can be because the ending, so without giving, but you know what I'm saying. It has a story to tell, and the way that Billy's telling it, and obviously everything changes when the director gets involved and all that. It'll become a better story. So you tweak here and there. So my thing is keep going, Billy. You got the right personnel in place, and anything he needs from me, I'm here.